Okay, so welcome to Outback Willie's Kitchen on a Saturday. This is, oh my God, it's February 13th. It's the day before Valentine's Day. So what are we doing? Well, this is cooking day and prep day for the week to come. So we got a two sinkfuls of vegetables. We'll roast some of these, the peppers and the sweet potatoes and onions, and the cabbage and the chard and the kale and the asparagus. We'll probably do in a on the top in a Dutch oven. Then we got a pot of rice going. And then we got like 6 pounds. How much is, no, like 8 pounds of chicken breast. We'll debone that and keep the bones and get the skin out and fat off of it and dice that up, season it, grind it up in our little $20 Mosaic Amazon buy meat processor. And these are some pork chops that I pre-seasoned and tenderized yesterday with my favorite meat tenderizer and salt and pepper and garam masala. So that's it. That's what we're going to eat for the week. It's a lot of food, but we eat a lot. Why? Because we're worth it. Oh yeah, I've been working on taxes. I got my taxes done this morning. I got up at 4 o'clock and did those because I want to get them out of the way because I don't want them to get in the way of my moving and stuff. I got a fire going on my firewood, and there you go. So, oh, and flowers. It's like desiccated flowers. These flowers are like 4 weeks old, but I like them because they're dried now. And then there's another batch that's not quite dried. So we'll get some fresh flowers soon. So there you go, Outback Willie's Kitchen. All right, let me show you something on these peppers as you roast them. Okay, what you ought to be able to do when they're ready, grab them by the stem, and then boom, the stem comes right out. That's when you know they're ready. See, like that. That's perfectly roasted. Grab it by the stem, shake it, stem comes out. Perfect. That's what you want. All right, so here's the next step. I pulled all the stems. I've cut the ends off the squash and zucchini, and I've salt and peppered it, garam masalaed it. Now I'm going to use 2 knives and just chop all that stuff up. So that's the first part of it, the first batch. This is already cooked. This is the stovetop stuff. That's kale, and you saw it, celery, asparagus, red cabbage, ginger, garlic, carrot sticks, Swiss chard, with a couple lemons in there, pot of rice, and I'm in the process of getting ready to cube and grind and season the chicken breast. And what I did with the chicken bones, that's the rib bones, I seasoned them up real good because I'll cook those in a skillet, high heat, and they're delicious because that's what gives it all the flavors in bones, and there's still a lot of meat left on there. So that's it. And then the last part, the last 20 minutes, is the hardest vegetables roasting, which is the sweet potatoes and the onions. So that'll come out last, and I'll mix those in. I'll mix the onions in with the rest of the vegetables, and then I'll make that sweet potato pie kind of deconstructed thing that I do with butter and salt and cinnamon and butter, salt, cinnamon, and vanilla. That's it. All right, so that's where we're at. So that's what it looks like when it's all chopped up. You can see it's steaming. It's still coming it just came out of the oven. And I chopped it up while it was nice and hot and soft. And then the last thing I'll do with this is I'll squirt some balsamic vinegar in there. And see if I can do this cross-handed. olive oil. Okay, there you go. And then some chicken broth. Okay, just plain old chicken broth. And that's gonna provide all that good sauce and juice, and it's gonna mix with the stock. There you go, that's it. And then the garlic over here, I'm gonna let it cool off, and then I'll basically squeeze it out and mix it's golden roasted, and I'll dice it up and put it in there. So that's the roasted vegetable. All right, in the continuing saga of meal prep for the week, there's the chicken breast. I skinned it, took all the fat off, deboned it from the rib bones, kept the rib bones, seasoned them. I already showed you that. And then, yeah, cubed up the chicken breast. That's about 8 pounds. And then heavy on the salt, pepper, and garam masala. Why? Because it makes it taste good. So there you go. And then basically all I'm going to do is take it in like handful batches, whatever will fit in that, and about a pound at a time, and grind it up. And then I'll add the wet mix, which will be the last step. All right, just to be consistent, step by step, I'm going to try to do this one-handed. So that's about how much I put in there, whatever that is, pound and a half. And then the top on this thing, and then put this into where it engages. Again, this is just a simple, and then let her rip, header chip. And I go about 15, 20 seconds, depending on how it's cubed. I don't like it too mushy. I like it kind of coarse. So I kind of like chili meat. So there you go. That's about it. And what do you end up with? Ground seasoned chicken breast. Woo! Imagine that. All right, continuing on the vegetable front. Everything's out of the oven. That was at 400 degrees. The peppers and squash, depending on the size of them and how much stuff you had in there, about 30 to 40 minutes at 400. I keep the sweet potatoes and onions in there for another 20, so about an hour total on them. And you can see they are like fork tender. So I'll wait for those to cool off, skin them, and to make the what I call the deconstructed sweet potato pie thing. And you can tell these onions are done because look, the stem has pulled out. So that's what you look for. On the meat front, I've got all of the ground meat, the chicken ground meat done, except for the wet mix, which will be the last step on that. So, and I still gotta do the garlic. So there you go, that's where we're at. Okay, I've already chopped up the onions. They were perfect. So let me show you what I was talking about on this beautiful garlic. Basically, you take these pods and you just squeeze them out. And that's roasted garlic. I mean, it's that simple. I can even do it like one-handed. But yeah, it just kind of like, oops. Well, maybe I can't do it. Maybe I can't do it one-handed. There we go. There you go, see? And it just comes out. Well, it's easier if you do it two-handed, but there you go. That's what you're looking for. And then you just dice that up, and all that's going to go in there with all those beautiful vegetables, roasted vegetables. And again, the sweet potatoes are on the side. I'm letting them cool a bit, skin them, butter, salt, cinnamon, vanilla. Yum. Okay, there's all that beautiful garlic that's been depotted, that golden soft garlic, and there it is with the onions. And I've salt, peppered it, garam masalaed it, and I'll just chop it up, and again, it'll go right in there. So there's your step-by-step. Continuing with step 42. All right, so here's the wet mix for the ground meat, whatever you use, whether it's chicken or turkey or beef or whatever. This is about 8 pounds of meat. So I did 4 eggs. Put salt, pepper, and garam masala in them, beat them up, and then a generous squirt, probably that much of honey mustard, lots of tapatía, probably, you know, again, that much Worcestershire and that much soy sauce. And what I'll do is just distribute that into there, and then that'll be the mix. I'll probably freeze the larger section and keep this section. This is probably 5 pounds. This is probably 3 pounds. We'll wait a minute and see. A lot of food. But I've got all those pork chops. I've got like 5 pounds of pork chops. So that'll be enough meat for me for about a 7-day period, really. So here's the final video on the food prep for the week. And I want to go through this and just kind of analyze it because it's really a huge element of my lifestyle, okay? Basically, let's just start from right to left here. This is 5.5 pounds of pork chops that I've already got seasoned and pre-tenderized. They'll be about 3 minutes on each side when I grill them in a hot cast iron skillet. So that's let's just say 5.5 pounds. This is 5.5 pounds of the ground chicken breast mix. I'll probably freeze 3 and keep the 2.5. That'll give me about 7.5 pounds of protein for the next 7 days, right? A pound a day. Roasted veggies, y'all know about all that. The cast iron skillet veggies, the sweet potato mix, and a pot of rice. So that's everything I will eat for 7 days plus 3 days worth of protein that I can take out of the freezer. Well, let's do a quick analysis of that. I looked at the timestamp when I started the video. It was at 11:58. It's 2 o'clock now, so it's 2 hours. I've already cleaned up the kitchen. Everything has been cleaned, you know, except for the final wipe down. So 2 hours for 7 days worth of food with a 5 to 10 minute prep per day. And let's assume you eat 2 meals a day. So that's basically, let's just say 15 minutes of prep per day for 7 days, which is 100 minutes. And then 2 hours, so that's 220 minutes, which is a little less than 3 hours for 7 days. So that's 30 minutes per day for both meals, okay? Total. That's nothing. That's 15 minutes of total prep a meal. So that's pretty significant. And as far as costs go, pork was 90 cents a pound. Chicken breasts were 69 cents a pound. Poblano peppers, Anaheim peppers, $1.06 a pound as an example. The squash and zucchini, $1 a pound. All this stuff, $1 a pound. Sweet potatoes, 93 cents a pound. A bag of rice that made this pot, 62 cents. So when you calculate this, there's actually, if you calculated all this meat, and let's just say it's an average of 75, let's just say it's $1 a pound, and that's high. It's not, it's like 80 cents a pound. But that's that's 10 pounds of meat for like $8. And then probably $4, $5 in these veggies, maybe $6. Let's say we're up to 15, another 5 there, maybe. That's 20, maybe $25 for 7 days worth of meals, 2 meals a day. That's $3 a day. Think about that shit. Outback Willie out. Okay, so here's one of those 5-minute meal preps. Actually, I put 3.5 minutes on each side of that pork chop, and you can see that's a pretty thick pork chop. And then literally I just dish out, ladle out with a ladle, a spatula, a good portion of roasted vegetables, a good portion of cast iron Dutch oven vegetables, some of the sweet potato mix, and about a half a cup of rice, and boom, there it is. I'll combine that, and that's my meal. That's 5 minutes. That's an 8-minute to 10-minute prep. And that's a huge pork chop. So there you go. That's how it's done. I'm not even going to garnish this with anything. I'm not putting any sour cream on it, no sriracha, no curly parsley, no blueberries, because just look at the beauty of this plate. I mean, a perfectly grilled, cast iron skillet grilled pork chop, sweet potato mix, and then all those good roasted and cast iron Dutch oven sauteed veggies with a Diet Coke with lime. That whole meal right there, now obviously that's a huge hunk of meat. That's a pound, actually I weighed it. I won't eat all that in this meal. I'll eat probably 2/3 of it. But still, even with the fatty content of the pork chop, that whole meal there is probably not more than 800 calories. Tons of protein, tons of good potassium and all that. Tons of potassium in the sweet potato, all the good micronutrients. So there you go. That's the way Outback Willie eats.